What is going on? Welcome into BP Insights. So let's get into it. So yeah, the bottom line, Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate interview would be it'd be what people would want. It'd be a lot of hype, a lot of fun. I would be so excited. That's one interview. Right when it drops. I mean, you're watching. It'd be simply put. That'd be exciting and be fun. So really would relish the chance to watch that. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit. So today, how do you kind of push through, a tough workout? What are some of the kind of the tips? I think one thing is you kind of just have to stay calm and take a deep breath. I know that's kind of advice to stay calm in any situation, but I think that really helps you in the gym because you feel like you're doing a long, hard workout. You feel like the workout can just be taking forever. And sometimes you kind of just have to pause for a moment and then just, relax, keep going, push through it. I think that's what's really key. I'll be right back. But yeah, I mean, had some couple of tough days in the gym. Yesterday was kind of a tough day as well. It's just, some days you're really, I know I've kind of touched on this. Some days you're really struggling for motivation. Some days you kind of have to really dig deep to want to keep going. It's just kind of it is the grind, the daily grind of the gym. It's not, this isn't about, it's not always about having fun. It's not always, I think like, I know there's some days. I think what's too bad about I think sometimes treating the gym too seriously is kind of a bad thing because, not that you want to turn it into social hour, but I think once you're kind of in that dreading mood, it's kind of hard to interact and have fun with people around you. Like I saw one guy, I think his name's Mo, I believe. Saw him today, said what up to him. I had told him I hadn't seen him in a while. So I think that's what's cool. You kind of see people at the gym that you've seen before. But like when you're kind of in that, that pissed off, dreading mood from a long workout, you don't even always want to talk to people, you know. But yeah, I did certainly. I did today, and yeah, you really sometimes you just kind of dread it, but yeah, just push through. I still got a few. We're still gonna try to do a few more of those different workouts tonight. Yes, I want to do seated. I want to try to get some rows done, lat pull down, chin ups. Chin ups. I feel like everyone, Joe Rogan talked about. I feel like everyone should be doing chin ups. Chin ups are just such an easy exercise to do. Honestly, there's really nothing. Just a chin up bar, yourself and a chin up bar. That's all you need to do chin ups. Chin ups really are a good workout. It is chin ups, pull ups. I remember Rogan had a take that you really only need like to do a few different exercises. Honestly, you don't really need a wide array of like different exercise to do. You can just do. You can really get shredded with. People are talking about leg raises, pull ups. You can get shredded without any weights, just with a few exercises, push ups, leg raises, chin ups. A lot of times you don't even need weight to really build a great physique and really get shredded. But I think the gym still is important too, just because doing free weights is fun. Um, bench squat, just such important lifts. I think, even though you know building a great physique without weights is possible. I think there is it's just oftentimes a lot of fun doing squat and doing bench. But yeah, I'm thinking, I'm trying to really push today. Um, trying to push through it. Gym not as packed today, which I was happy about. Some days, I think a lot of people can relate. You're at the gym a lot of days after 5, it is just like packed, it is popping. But yeah, today, I mean, it was not really not really packed, but yeah, I mean, there's a decent amount of people. I think what's kind of annoying sometimes is like you have like one or two more exercises to do and then you can get out of there, but like there's people on those lifts. I think that's when it's, waiting for a machine at the beginning, early stages of the workout is kind of like understandable because you're just kind of like you almost that procrastinating in you. But when you got a few more lifts to do, you almost just don't even want to wait. You're just like, man, let me just, let me get this over with. Let me just get those 2 exercises done real quick and I can get out of here. But yeah, today, I guess, I mean, I could have hit the seated rows real quick, but yeah, lat pull downs. Everyone was on the lat pull downs and everyone was on the chin up bars. What's weird about the gym I go to, there's not really like a designated, well, I guess there is a designated spot for the chin up bar, but it's like in the middle of like some of the cables and the lat pull down machines. So that's what's kind of weird because it's like, it's kind of like awkward a little bit. You're doing like pull-ups, chin-ups, like while everyone's like doing like in the middle of all like a lot of action. So you're kind of just it kind of just feels a little bit strange sometimes. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, that was that wasn't taken. But yeah, there's just like a lot going on in there, and then like the pull-up chin-up bars are on the connected at the top of the squat racks. That's what's interesting about the gym I go to. I think that's the case for a lot of gyms, but some other gyms I went to, they have like separate spots for chin up, pull up bars. So you can just like the other gym I was at, they had like a separate spot for like the pull up and chin up bars. But yeah, I was talking about this earlier. It's crazy how quickly, women can notice you in public. Like I was talking about, I was at the gym a couple of days ago and I was on a machine. I was on one of the chest, like the chest press machine, that you pull out, you push out. And I was just like sitting there and I was like, out of nowhere, this girl just comes and goes to the machine next to me. And she was kind of looking at me. I'm thinking like, because as a guy, guys notice girls pretty quickly. I'm thinking like, where the hell did she come from? Like, I didn't even, like, because like if you're a guy that's in a public place, you usually notice cute girls. Like, obviously, you notice baddies pretty quickly, but you usually kind of can pick up on cute girls. And I'm thinking like, where in the heck? She just comes right next to me. I'm thinking like, where the heck did she come from? But yeah, that's kind of how it is. They just notice. And I've noticed like, girls that find you attractive, they'll fix your hair. Like one time I'm at work, I'm looking out the window at a girl in the parking lot. She's fixing her hair in the parking lot. And it's like from the windows at work, it's hard to see inside. So I'm thinking like, how in the hell did she notice? I was looking at her. It's crazy how quickly girls can pick up on. They know when guys are looking at them. It's crazy how quickly they can pick up on that stuff. It's so instinctive. What's really weird is like you're looking at a girl to see if she'll give you indicators of interest, and she like looks at you once, but it's not really doesn't really want to like keep looking at you, and then you keep looking at her, and then she just like then it becomes awkward because she knows that she's like I was not trying to give you any hint of interest, even though I guess if they do look at you, it's like a little bit of interest, but sometimes they have a girlfriend or they have a husband and they want to stop at the I just find you attractive. They don't want to keep the eye contact going and they don't want to perpetuate any flirtatious vibes or anything. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, pretty good day overall. I think it was one of those days I really made an emphasis on having a good day. I think sometimes that's how you can have a good day is you just excuse me, you place an emphasis on today I have to have a good day. Not even today should be a good day, today could be a good day. Today excuse me, today I have to have a good day. And that's what it was. It was a good day. I think working a job, you're not I've learned, not all you can't not all every customer is going to be super happy, but you can at least turn this up. You always just, treat people well and, do the best you can to be nice to people. And yeah, like I talked about, it's cool. It's cool having a job where you work with different people. I think that's really cool. So yeah. Yeah, we'll talk. So we'll talk some Andrew Tate. So yeah, Andrew Tate, known for his strong takes. Whether it's depression, women, whatever. I think what stands out to me about Andrew Tate is, he really did I wasn't even on really TikTok much when his clips were really starting to circulate, but it's crazy how, so many people are on TikTok and so many people see a lot of the same videos people see on TikTok. And I think that's what's interesting with Andrew Tate is a lot of people saw his videos not because they were just being played over and over, but a lot of people just, see the same videos. That's how many people and how much time is spent on TikTok that a lot of people see the same videos. Like you think about how many videos there are total on TikTok. Like, million, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of videos made on TikTok. And all these people seeing Andrew Tate's clips. But yeah, I think there's more women than men in the world. And so, some of his TikToks that are strong controversial takes, because TikTok's like that. Their algorithm, if you watch a video longer, the algorithm is more inclined to show you videos that relate to that topic. Some of those controversial takes on women, like he prefer a male pilot or prefer he thinks men are better drivers than women on average, takes that, not really controversial, but takes that are, pretty true in general. Obviously in a daycare, you would want a daycare, you want your children at a daycare with all females, takes that are, it seems like stuff that's pretty common knowledge, but so many people disagree with it that when they've heard those takes, it really invokes an emotion and it makes them want to watch the video longer, engage with the video. So those just keep getting shown. And, but yeah, I think that the interview with James English really had a lot of clips that were cut up. I think, that might've been his best one. And I'm talking about the one with James English 2 years ago. That was a really good one. That was, because that was one. Yeah, that was one. It was, a lot. It was a mix of, motivation. He talked depression. There's just a lot of good things they hit on in that interview, I thought. So, yeah, I really like that one. Yeah, there's there's a lot of good ones. The one with the I forget what the guy's name is. It's like Muhammad, like the Indian guy was good. That one got, excuse me, over to 3.8 million. What's interesting about a lot of his videos, I think it goes to show that there is a lot of people that dislike him because he gets a lot of views, but or his videos get a lot, like on average, they get at least like what, 2 to 6 million, 2 to 3, 3 to 7 million, 3 to 8 million views on average. But there's never like a video that gets like except the grilling with the chain Reynolds. That one, what did that one get? Like 20 some million. So that one got like 20 million, but there isn't a lot. Like you feel like as Googled Andrew Tate as you feel like there's some that would get a lot more. So I think that just goes to show you that the fans that watch him watch every video. That's like a strong base of fans, in the millions. But he still has there's still enough dislike among him, probably amongst, a decent amount of women and some men that he's not getting like the views he should, or he's not getting as much. You look at some clips, some Joe Rogan clips, 20, 30, 40, 50 million views, because like the Joe Rogan, when he interviewed the guy during COVID, because I know that obviously that's a clip that could, definitely do a lot of millions of views, just because, right time. It was a video that was made, right time, high profile guy with an expert in a time of a lot of curiosity and unknown. So that, it made sense. That clip of Joe Rogan with that, virus expert would do 50 plus billion views. But yeah, I guess the point with Andrew Tate is, yeah, you think, a lot of views, strong fan base. But yeah, not as many, at times, not as many views as you'd expect. Oh, shoot, I got to plug this. But yeah, you think some of his videos would get more views, but yeah, I mean, a lot of them still have done obviously super well. Yeah, the grilling was an interesting one. I think it's funny how he made her kind of believe. He made her start to think a lot of the same way he thought. I thought that was interesting. She disagreed a lot, but the way he could start, he almost made her, you could see at the end of the video, she was starting to kind of like Andrew Tate. He just has Andrew Tate talks about that women that are like open to talking to him. He talks about how if a woman's open, he's got 100% success rate, meaning, if a girl has some interest with him, he has a way to, make people like him just by the way he talks and the way, the charisma and confidence he has. Because if you look at his pickup approach, go up to a girl, and this is where I kind of missed the other day because I approached a girl at the gym, and I wouldn't say I disliked her, but I wasn't necessarily feeling her. His approach was kind of like mine at the gym. You go up to a girl, hi, hi, I noticed you over here. You're absolutely beautiful. What's your name? I didn't say that she was absolutely beautiful, but I just, hey, what are you working out today? And she said legs or whatever, and then asked their name, and then his whole point is, if they ask your name back, the girl at the gym did. I didn't ask her number, which probably was a miss there, but I think with Andrew Tate, his whole point was, if they ask for your name back, he said it's done, just because if they want to know your name, it's a sign that there is definitely interest there, because goes back to kind of the discussion with women, like girls don't do things by mistake. You talk about when they put themselves in your vicinity or next to you, it's never by mistake. That's his whole point about the that's his whole thing about the them asking your name back. They wouldn't, like, it's one of those things, they don't ask if they don't care. That's what you got to understand. When they ask for your name, it's a genuine indicator of interest. And that's the thing. I know I was on TikTok. Some guys tried to argue this, and I'm just like, there's, everyone wants to argue points, which is fine. But I'm thinking, like, they think it's just because they're being, well, I don't know if they were arguing that point. Wasn't there a guy arguing? I think they were arguing that point. They could just say, I don't know. I wouldn't say ever. No, I think that, so the point they were trying to argue was, So I've had this theory that if you approach a girl and you get her number and you say nice to meet you, and she says nice to meet you too, that she's not really that interested. It's more of her way of saying, yeah, it was okay talking to you, but this is not going to resonate to anything. I've had that theory, and it's held up for me, but other guys were kind of debating that. That was one thing guys were debating. There was something else guys were debating too. It might have been that they weren't 100%. It's not, obviously it isn't a guarantee, but more, it's not a guarantee that she will hook up with you if she asks for your name back, but it's pretty much a guarantee there's at least some interest. It's like Andrew Tate's right about, if you text a girl and she at least texts you back, it's a sign of at least some interest. Because if she didn't have any interest, she wouldn't text you back, or it'd be a fake number, or she wouldn't text you back. So if you message a girl, she messages you back, it's a sign of at least some interest. Because if she wasn't interested at all, that she would not, because girls, bottom line, girls do not go out of their way to text guys they don't like. So if they don't text you, if you text them, they don't even text you back. Obviously, clear-cut sign that they just don't like you. But that was funny that's what I kind of forgot this whole time, with approaching that, a lot of girls, if you're a good-looking guy, a lot of girls will find you attractive, but doesn't necessarily mean they like you. But I'll have to listen to the Joe or the Andrew Tate Pierce Morgan interview. Like I said earlier, I don't dislike Pierce Morgan. Don't necessarily like him though. I mean, I think he's a guy that's intelligent. Can't believe they did 2 parts to this. They must have really had a lot of things to discuss in the first part. Must have had, Morgan must have had quite a bit of questions. I think the first part was like an hour and a half. So, there's a lot of podcasts that go longer than that. I'm surprised that they had to cap it at that, but he's an interesting guy for sure, Pierce Morgan. But like I said, not my favorite, but I think a decent guy and a guy that at least knows. At least has some knowledge about stuff, and asks some pretty good questions. I guess challenges people, not necessarily when they need challenging, but he certainly does it. I'll be back. As a man, a lot of days are hard. I mean, I wake up and a lot of days really, really just anxious. Sometimes you do feel depressed. I think as a man, I think it's okay to admit that you feel depressed. It's like Andrew Tate talks. You don't want to say you've caught depression because you don't want to say you've now become a sad person, but you also, I think sometimes it's good to acknowledge that you're feeling depressed, and it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel stressed. Sometimes stress is, a lot of times people look at stress in a healthy way. Stress isn't all bad. Andrew Tate looks at stress as, it's his time to perform. I think that's a great way to look at it, is that it's your time to perform. It's an extra energy boost. It's an extra oomph to kind of get your thoughts going, get your body moving. Sometimes my best workouts come when I'm really stressed before, really dreading it. So stress I think is a good thing. Stress can really focus you. Sometimes if I'm at work and I've taken too long at a task, sometimes I'll get a little surge of cortisol, stress, and that's what you need to kind of hone in and finish that task. But yeah, I've always been one that, like when I'm at work in the morning, I'm just really dreading it. Um, I'm thankful to have a job with really good management, really good bosses. But yeah, there's times, not just my job currently, but jobs you've had in the past. There's times where you're kind of really dreading the day, and I think there's times where I'll be working any job, and you're kind of like your brain just kind of just goes. Your brain just kind of is like bored. Andrew Tate, he said something one time in one of his motivational or one of his quotes he said is now cut up into one of his motivational videos. He said something that really resonated with me. He talked about how his brain, when he's not doing something really tough, he goes into his brain goes almost into a perpetual state of crippling boredom. And I really related to that because my brain's kind of like that too. I've noticed that when I'm doing something that's non-productive, borderline lazy, like watching football all day or sitting on the couch scrolling through, I don't scroll through Instagram anymore, but scrolling through YouTube. You ever notice how much time you just waste? Not only with social media, I know YouTube's social media, but you notice how even YouTube, how much time you waste like scrolling through recommended or feed, or just like sometimes I'll just waste time looking at my old videos, seeing how many views they have, refreshing. You just waste so much time doing the shit like that instead of just post content. I think Andrew Tate was so spot on when he talked about sometimes just posting content without thinking is the best way to do social media. Think about if you just posted to Instagram. Post to Instagram, get off. Don't spend time looking at girls, looking at people you haven't talked to in years doing stupid shit. Don't waste time, stalking your exes. I think, look, I'm not going to admit right here openly I've done that, but you kind of can get the hint that I think guys will do that, still follow their ex, not really stalk them, but just kind of see what they're up to. I think that's that's just part of the dumb shit that comes with, with getting off when getting on social media. So you wanted to stay away from that crap. Yeah, I've just stayed off social media. Look, and if I go to be one of those people that's anti getting on Facebook, anti getting on Instagram, anti Twitter or X. No, I'm not anti that, but just like I'm not. You just have to. You have to really think about how much time you're wasting. Like, always ask yourself, is what I'm doing getting me closer to my family? Is what I'm doing getting me closer to my goal? Is what I'm doing making me a better person? I think those are questions that always have to run through your mind when you're doing something. Like, this is kind of a hard right transition. But like, you look at for men having success, and a man having success, a man finding his purpose, a man being happy for the most part, besides all the drugs. I really just let's break down the Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, so what's interesting is I don't even know if this is 100% true, but look at how Jordan Belfort kind of evolved from the beginning of the movie to the end. If you notice in the beginning, he was a kind of a soft spoken guy who was just willing to make some money and just willing to open to listen and open to learn. What's interesting about that movie is, he had the stockbroker job, but then he gets laid off. He gets laid off, and what's interesting about that is, you hear him talking about his wife. Who knows if that's even true or not, but I'm going to assume it's true. He was just looking at going into a normal job. People talk about how it's crazy how, their life was one decision away from something else. Like Aaron Rodgers was going to be a lawyer. Like you look at Jordan Belfort, and he's looking at jobs, and he was thinking about like selling appliances. So that always begs the question: are some people destined to be great, or some people just hard workers who didn't get as lucky? Meaning that, see, if you see a guy tomorrow that's, I don't even know, name a profession. If you see a guy tomorrow that's delivering ice cream, and you think, could that guy have been, say he's is a hard worker at his ice cream delivery, and say maybe he's got a wife, a couple kids, good for him. Was that guy one decision away from becoming a Hall of Fame quarterback? Like Aaron Rodgers was, Aaron Rodgers, one decision, becoming a lawyer. He was one decision away from, being a guy that probably people wouldn't know about unless he became a famous lawyer. Aaron Rodgers was one decision to, he would not be discussed as one of the best quarterbacks of all time, maybe one of the most pure talented quarterbacks of all time. So I guess what I'm getting at is, you break down Jordan Belfort and you're thinking like, he was one he could have, after getting, after the stockbroker thing in New York didn't work, he was one decision away from just kind of, maybe, one decision away from Stratton Oakmont not becoming a thing. All those people not becoming successful. Him never making all that money. Him never getting that very attractive wife. So he's just it was one decision that really impacted his life. So you talk about, like, I listened to Dan Bilzerian, I think he was spot on about, a lot of times you look at people and, there's a lot of people that work hard. But there's also a lot of people who work hard, and he didn't say this word for word, but this is what he was kind of getting at. A lot of people work hard, but a lot of people work hard and get lucky too. When you look at Dan Bilzerian, this guy that played hours and hours of poker. His whole thing was, let me log 10,000 hours at something. So once you log 10,000 hours at something, odds are you're probably going to get at least pretty decent at it. You're going to find success at it. So Dan Bilzerian's whole thing was, let me log 10,000 hours at online poker. So that led to him making money. But I guess kind of the back to the point is, his whole thing was there's a degree of luck to finding success at anything. And he was, his whole thing was, I work hard. I want to get rich. I want to have a life that's set up where women come to me. I want to have a life that's set up where I don't have to, do laundry or anything that I don't want to do. So let me just, put in my 10,000 hours and let me get rich, and let me live a life that he wants to live. It's like he talked about, I know we're kind of shifting to Dan Bilzerian now, but he talked about how he lives a life that he wanted to live. He does a lot of shit that young guys want to do. He talked about, he didn't say this word for word, but he didn't necessarily want to be like the old rich guy. And who really does want to be the old rich guy? Because what the hell can you even do as an old rich guy? I guess you can say, go on a boat, I guess. You can go on a boat with a bunch of young women that don't find you attractive. Maybe they bang you once in a while because they, just want you to shut up. Or they, you can play golf and then until your hip goes out. So that's the thing. I mean, being the old rich guy is fine, but like, is that really what you want to? Is that really what you want to do? But yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, back to the Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, so good movie, obviously. Really enjoyed it. No, it's a movie I've watched a million times, but you think, you look at Jordan Belfort, and I think, I think a lot of the drugs came with him just finding a lot of success and what he was doing, and that led to him just, I think a lot of the the drug use was, I think it was just him getting kind of carried away. He's like, yeah, I'm having success. Let me take it up a notch. Let me just live. It's like the ultimate adage: work hard, play hard. I think that was his whole thing. I'm doing all this to make money. Let me let me just, I'm working hard. Let me play hard too. Let me, do coke, morphine, all what, whatever he was doing. But yeah, really good movie. It was interesting how that plane, he sent that plane to rescue him. That was it was like a geese or a bird flew in it. Yeah, that was really, that was, you talked about, that was kind of a wake up from God, really. Um, so yeah, like he said, you want to talk about a message from God. So I think that whole movie, what the whole movie was getting at was, I think um, God understood that, Belfort deep down really wasn't a bad guy. This guy that made some bad decisions and had the potential to turn his life around. I think you look at a lot of the people who were doing bad things, but deep down were really good people. But they did, maybe a lot, maybe not a lot, but a decent amount of bad things. I think, Jordan Belfort was an example of that. A guy who, not a not a bad guy per se, but a guy that was just, success got the better of him, and he was just on too much of um, he was on too much of the wrong path, and he needed kind of, the wake up call. And he needed something to try to refocus him and get him on the right path, and for him to see, what he, the good he could do in this world, and not necessarily just continuing on the path of, drugs and degeneracy and becoming a bad father and potentially a, a woman abuser. But yeah, I think that was a powerful message from God in the movie. Yeah, really, really good movie, powerful message. Um, really enjoyed that one. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, what else? What else we wanted to discuss here? I think I'm gonna wrap at that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay tuned for more episodes and clips from the show. Till next time, peace.